Another important thing that's happening is that the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the University of the West Indies, the Ministry of Health, the Tobago House of Assembly, regional health authorities, the University of Trinidad and Tobago, and the University of the Southern Caribbean will be hosting the country's first national health research conference. And here to tell us a little bit more about that conference is Professor Donald T. Simeon, Director, Caribbean Center for Health Systems Research and Development, and also Professor of Biostatistics and Research at the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the University of the West Indies. Good morning, Professor.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me on your program this morning.
Not a problem at all. Tell us about this research conference. When is it happening?
It's on November 19 and 20. It's a two-day conference, and it will be virtually. So this is really new for us in the Caribbean as a whole to have a virtual conference of this size.
Right.
So,
And if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, it was supposed to happen earlier this year.
Yes, it was originally scheduled for March the 26th,
Right.
a full-day conference at the Hyatt. And because of COVID, it had to be postponed, and eventually the format was also changed to become a virtual conference.
Okay. Well, tell me, why is this conference important?
Well, we have had a number of conferences, health conferences in the country, hosted by different institutions. Like UWI, for example, would have its own conference, UTT, USC, Ministry of Health, etc. And we decided it would be best to have one consolidated research conference to really showcase the excellent health research being conducted in the country, and of course to ensure that there is collaboration among the different institutions who are involved in the conduct of health research.
All right, so tell me about the importance of generating and sharing the research evidence to inform decision making.
Yes, for example, we have the COVID pandemic, and we are being told that the decisions are being guided by science. What does that really mean? It means that they are guided by the evidence generated from research being conducted. And the whole idea is to ensure that we in Trinidad and Tobago, are making a contribution to health outcomes in general. COVID is just one, but of course, as we know, NCDs is a big problem.
Right.
Mental health, quite a few health conditions are being researched in the country. It's important that people know what is being done,
Yeah.
and most importantly, that the research findings are shared by the people who can actually use them, whether it is policymakers, whether it is the public. It's about actually sharing the research findings so that decisions are really evidence-based.
Nice. And I understand that you guys are celebrating some Lifetime Research Achievement Awards.
Yes, well, one of the highlights of the conference, I say this is our inaugural National Health Research Conference,
Right.
is to recognize persons who have made lifetime contributions in the area of health research. And this year, we would be honoring Professor David Piku, who is, a champion in terms of health research. His career started from back in the 1950s, actually, and he made tremendous contributions in the area of nutrition. He was the director of Tropical Medical Research Unit at Mona in Jamaica, and he produced publications, a book, How to Treat Malnutrition and Gastroenteritis in Hospitals. That is one of his landmark contributions, in which he actually saved millions of lives all over the world. So he would be our first recipient of the National Lifetime Research Award.
Fantastic. And tell me about some of the feature presentations at the conference.
Yes, we have a number of feature presentations, which are also, highlights of the conference. For example, our international guest speaker is Professor John Lavis, who is the director of the McMaster Health Forum. He'll be talking about using synthesized research evidence to inform the COVID-19 response. Professor Lavis and his Health Forum, have been doing excellent work over the years to really pull together all the different research evidence in what they call systematic reviews to really see, what, after looking at all the evidence, is really the information that we like to share with our policymakers, with our care providers, and of course with our health managers. Other feature speakers would include Professor Christine Carrington, Professor of Molecular Genetics and Virology at the Faculty of Medical Sciences at UWI. She'll be talking about viral disease emergence, we reap what we sow. And the third feature speaker is Professor Jared Hutchinson, Professor of Psychiatry at the Faculty of Medical Sciences, who will be talking about the burden of trauma, mental health as public health. So
Nice.
those three feature presentations would also be, highlights of the
Of course,
conference.
they're definitely very important topics that need to be ventilated. But tell me about the pressing topic on everybody's mind right now is, of course, COVID-19. And is there
Yes.
going to be a COVID-19 research session?
Yes, so there would be a number of sessions, and actually, the original conference that was to be held in March did not have a COVID session because COVID was not, topical. It wasn't, on everybody's minds at that time.
Right.
But we have added a COVID-19 session, and there are about 4 papers being presented in addition to Professor Carrington's feature lecture. Other sessions would include diabetes, obesity and cardiovascular disease, clinical studies, mental health and cancers, veterinary and dental health, and health systems and innovations in health. So it's about addressing all of the health conditions that we face and really identifying what research evidence is being produced in this country that we should be using to
Yeah.
guide what we do, policies that we make.
And it's very important that we continue to share that information. So I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning, Professor Donald T. Simeon. And of course, we look forward to the conference happening on the 19th and 20th of November. And you guys can head across to all UWE's various social media platforms to be able to get more information about it. Thank you very much, Professor Donald T. Simeon, Director, Caribbean Center for Health Systems Research and Development, and Professor of Biostatistics and Research at the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the University of West Indies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.